Hi. Okay, so welcome to my bedroom lockdown studio. I'm really glad that you're all joining me. It's really nice. So it's nice to take some time out for yourself to draw with no sense of having to produce or having to push or force anything. So this is about allowing the drawing to happen very naturally. We'll be doing observational drawing, so you'll be looking at your own surroundings and not really looking at the screen so much. You're more kind of listening for the audio prompts. So it's here if you need to see what I'm doing in case any of the instructions don't make sense, or maybe you just want to watch someone do drawing. That's fine. So we'll be drawing very slowly and there's no rush. The aim is to be in the present moment rather than concerning ourselves with the past or the future. And if we do find ourselves thinking or worrying about the past or the future, then we just notice what's happening and bring it back to the drawing and bring it back to the present. So the first thing to do is really to just kind of settle yourself and get yourself into a comfortable position. So notice where your weight is on the chair and try to keep it kind of even on both arse cheeks. And you want to try to make sure that you're sitting in a way that's comfortable to draw. Often when we're drawing and when we're working and when we're looking at screens, we end up kind of hunching over. So just try to be aware of your posture and try to keep yourself kind of grounded and drop your shoulders a little bit, and also kind of drop your jaw a little bit. So you want to make sure that you're not kind of clenching anything while you're working. You want to be nice and kind of loose. Okay, so our first drawing that we're going to do is a very, very simple drawing, and we're going to draw with our breath. So you need to grab a pen and a bit of paper if you haven't got one handy already, and you're going to draw with your breath. So the aim here is not to change your breath or force your breath in any way. You're just listening and watching your natural breath, and drawing along with it. So you're going to draw a circle like this. This is mine from last week here. And what you're going to do is you're going to close your eyes, so you're not looking at the page at all. And what you're going to do is draw. Every time you take an in-breath, you're going to draw the top half of a circle, and every time you breathe out, you're going to draw the bottom half of the circle. And you're just going to keep going for quite a few breaths until I tell you to stop. Okay, and I'll get a timer on now as well. Okay, so we'll just go for a couple of minutes. Ready? Close your eyes, go. Okay, and you can now go the other way around the circle. Okay, and you can stop there. Okay, nice. Okay, so now you're going to go with the other hand and we're going to go the same thing again. So this is with your wrong hand, so the most unnatural hand that you don't normally use to draw. Same thing again. You're going to start by drawing a circle, close your eyes, breathe in as you go up, around, and breathe out as you go down the other side of the circle. In and out. But your pen is following the breath. Your breath is leading the pen, if that makes sense. You're not trying to change your breath, you're following your breath. Drop your shoulders while you're drawing. Okay, pause, and you're going to go around the circle the other way, moving with your breath. Okay, you can stop there. Okay, show me your circles to the camera if you've got them. Nice. Ooh, Helen's are pretty wild, I like those. Okay, lovely, good job. Okay, nice. So the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to draw a pile of books. So if you haven't got any books handy, then just go and grab some. Mine are down here. So here, hopefully you can see what I'm drawing at the same time. and I've got this pile of books that looks a bit like this, and I'm going to put those in front of me like that. So these are all my notebooks that I take notes in and never read the notes back. Like, I can see people going to get their books. This is good. So if you have, it can even just be like a ring binder or a stack of papers or whatever you've got to hand, whatever's in front of you. Okay, so you've got used to the idea of drawing blind and allowing the drawing to happen rather than trying to force anything. This is observational drawing, so what we're practicing is more looking than drawing. So you're going to be paying attention solely to what's in front of you, and this is going to be a blind drawing, and to do that you might want to move the page so that it's a little bit kind of away. So this is my right hand is my drawing hand, so I've put my page over to my right hand side, and that means that it's kind of not directly in my line of sight between what I'm drawing, and my hand is going to move independently over here. So yeah, so the reason that we do these blind drawings is to remove any preconceptions about what we're going to draw, or ideas about what the drawing should look like. Drawing is a natural process that happens between your eyes, your brain and your hand. You don't need to overanalyze it or think too much about it. You're drawing what's in front of you, and you're paying attention only to that and not looking at your page at all. Okay, so my timer's a bit funny. Okay, so when you're ready, also the other thing is we don't take our pen off the page, and the reason for that is that when we're travelling with our eyes around the objects, often there are things that we don't notice, and what you're doing when you don't take your pen off the page is you're creating a pathway from one place to the next. So you're not darting around thinking, oh, I'll draw this, oh, I'll draw that. In order to go between this corner of the book and this corner, I have to travel along the spine. I have to see the cracks, you know, where I've bent the spine from opening the notebook. I don't know if you can see them on the screen very well. Yeah, so it's about noticing those small details while you travel. So we'll go for 2 minutes and do this blind drawing. Okay, if you haven't started already, then go. So you can start anywhere. Don't look at the page, just gently, every time your eye moves, your hand moves. You can travel along those books in any direction you like. Don't take your pen off the page. Just follow your way around. So every time your eyeball moves, your pen moves. So just travelling gently around the objects. If you can see the pages, maybe there are ridges where lumps of pages meet, and you can follow those up and down. Maybe there are small curves in the pages that you would never otherwise notice. Think about the angles at which things are moving towards and away from you. The lines of sight. Okay, lovely, you can stop there. Nice going. Okay, so now you're going to grab a different type of pen. It might be something softer, it might be a pencil. Ideally you've got sort of two other pens to choose from. One's a bit lighter than the other. So now you're going to go for your darker pen, or if you've got something softer, so I'm going to use this little bit of kind of grey pastel, but you can use anything you've got to hand. So this is going to be my darker thing, and we're going to go again drawing blind for a few minutes, and this time what you're going to do is add to your existing drawing, so you're drawing over the top. It doesn't matter if one layer of the drawing doesn't match up to the other, that's okay, because what happens here is an accident. It doesn't matter whether it's good or bad, it just is. Although all drawings are good drawings in my opinion. So yeah, so I'm going to use this soft material, and what I'm going to try to do is a little bit of hatching in the shadows that I can see. So I'm still going to be drawing blind. I'm not going to look at my page, I'm just paying attention to the object in front of me. But what I'm trying to do is to notice shadows and notice where shadows sit, and I'm drawing those shadows. And the way that I'm going to draw those shadows is using hatching. Now, if you already know what hatching is, it's basically lines that go some lines this way, some lines another way. But we can use those in drawing to tell us about lines of sight. So if you imagine that going into your eyeball, the light is bouncing from the light source and going into your eye, it's travelling in a direction. So when I talk about things moving, even though they're not moving, I'm talking about light and the way that the surface of the object, the angle of the surface of the object in relation to your eye. If that's a bit complicated, then don't worry, you're basically just filling in shadows and you're trying to follow the direction of what's in front of you. So for me to be drawing down the spine, I'm going this way, but if I'm drawing the front of the book, I'm going that way, if that makes sense. This way and that way. And on my page, that looks something like this and this, if that makes sense. So you're going to try to do hatching like that in the shadows, still blind. It's a bit of a challenge, this one, for a couple of minutes. When you're ready, go. So don't look at the page, just put those lines in where you see darkness. And where the shadow fades, you're doing fewer and fewer marks. So in the darkest places, you're doing more marks. And in the lightest places, you're doing fewer marks. And even though something might look like just a block of shadow, chances are that it fades in one way or another. Okay, and if your shoulders have risen up while you're working, drop your shoulders. Remember to breathe. Okay, and you can stop there. Let's have a look at your drawings if you can show them to the camera. Oh, nice. Christine's is nice. Helen, yes, Sarah's is pretty wild. I like it. Okay, lovely. Who else is showing me their drawings? Okay, nice. So now you're going to go for another pen. So I'm going to go for this green one now. It's nice to kind of vary your media a bit. It gives your drawing a little bit of depth, some unexpected elements going on in there. And now you're going to do the same thing, kind of hatching again. Although this time, maybe we won't try and do both ways of hatching. Maybe we'll just do one direction of hatching. So you're going to switch media, choose something lighter to work with if you've got it. That might just be a pencil rather than a pen, or it might be a lighter colour like I'm doing. And we're going to do just some lines in the lighter areas. And in the lighter areas, what you're going for is this. So you'll have more lines in the lightest areas. So for me, the light is really shining on this corner. So that's where I'm going to focus most of my attention, and I'm going to fade the lines in that direction. And similarly here, there's light bouncing off here, but it kind of undulates with the edge of the spine of the book, so I'm paying attention to that. And down here I've got just a little triangle of light, but here it fades a little bit. I've got a nice shadow here, so I've got to try to make sure that my lines fade with the shadow when I'm drawing. Okay, ready? Go. So still not looking at your page. You can choose a start point if you like. Try not to look at your page. And just enjoy noticing where the light is hitting those objects. So just allowing your pen to travel around the objects in the same way. Focusing those lines where you see light. Okay, you can stop there. Nice work. Right, I'll show you mine. It's like this. So it's a very wild collection of lines going on, but hopefully the varying the media gives it a little bit of depth anyway. So we're not aiming to create beautiful masterpieces, we're accepting that whatever we create is a beautiful masterpiece. Okay, so I'm going to go to a new page now, and I'll get you to show me your drawings all at the end. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to draw something a little bit more difficult. So this is a self-portrait, but it's not a self-portrait of your face. It's a self-portrait of your hand, of your other hand. And we're going to do it in exactly the same way that we drew the books. So it's still going to be a blind drawing. We're still going to be focusing on, we'll start with a line drawing and then we'll focus on light and dark. And it's still an observational drawing, so you're only looking at your hand and you're not looking at your page at all. So we're practicing looking more than we are drawing. Drawing is the process that happens as a result of looking and noticing. Okay, so are you ready? Give me a thumbs up. Christine's ready, Sarah's ready. Yes, Kat's ready. Awesome. Yuri's ready. Nice. Okay, cool. So we are going to be drawing our hand. So you want to get your hand in a position that's going to be quite comfortable, because it's going to be there for a little while. We'll go for about sort of 10 minutes, but you can change the position of your hand maybe. No, not for a while. We'll keep your hand in the same position, and I'll let you know if we're going to change the position at any point. So just get your hand into a nice sort of fairly comfortable position that's resting. Remember to roll your shoulders back, drop your shoulders. Yeah, okay, ready. So we'll start with a line drawing. Don't take your pen off the page, remember. You need to travel around the object, and we're not just travelling around the outside of the object, we're travelling across as well. So what you're looking at is three-dimensional, it's not a flat object. Okay, I'll start drawing. So you can notice how things start to curve around. All those little creases and crevices, you can travel inside of those. Remember, you're trying not to look at your page. So you can also imagine that you've got your pen on your hand. What movements would the pen be doing if it was actually on your hand? It would be travelling around. There wouldn't be any straight lines, that's for sure. So we're just travelling gently around. It's okay to travel the same paths again. It's okay if you think you're drawing a completely different thing in a completely different place. That's fine. You're just following those lines around. Maybe there are tiny hairs on your hand, you can draw those as well. Lots of little C shapes here and there. Okay, and you can stop there. I'll show you my hand. Look at this. So this is where you can see I'm kind of trying to move around it rather than drawing around it. Yeah, if that makes sense. It's a round rather than a round. Okay. Alright, so we're going to go for our dark hatching again. So you can use the same thing you used last time, or you can use something else. I'm going to go for my nice soft pastel thing again. And you're going to draw on top of the other drawing, but this layer's kind of independent. It can move independently to the layer that's beneath it. And what you want to do is pay attention with your hatching that you're kind of going both ways. So if I do this and then I do like kind of like this, then you can see it looks, I mean, it's kind of getting spherical, if that makes sense. But if you could do a C-shaped hash in one direction and then a C-shaped hash in the other direction, then we're starting to get three-dimensional. Things are starting to become more like a round object rather than just a flat one. So you're paying attention to those lines with your hand, but you're not worrying about it too much. You're just focusing on where there are shadows and putting those kind of shapes in roughly where you think where you can see them. And again, you're not looking at your page, so I need to move mine over a bit further. Okay, put your hand back in a similar position, doesn't have to be exactly the same. And when you're ready, go. So you can still follow any little crevices, tiny hand wrinkles. But remember, you're focusing on shadow. And if you've got something soft, then you can press down on it harder where the shadow is darkest. And you can fade it out where the shadow is lighter. So remember those C shapes. Okay, you can stop there. Nice. Alright, let's see your other medium, your lighter thing. So I'm going to go with this green pen. It could be a lighter pencil that you're working with, or just a different colour. Okay, so with this time we're looking for the light that's hitting your hand, and that's the part that we're drawing. You're still going to go with those C shapes, maybe just the C's in one direction rather than trying to overlap the C's this time. But you can still, you know, if you want to travel along little creases in your hand, then that's fine, because every crease on your knuckle has a kind of a peak and a valley, and the peaks will all have light and the valleys will all have dark. So you're paying attention just to the peaks this time. Okay, when you're ready, go. So you're allowing the drawing to happen. Remember to breathe, don't clench anything while you're doing this. If your jaw is clenched, drop your jaw. So you're just examining your hand, you're noticing where the light is hitting, trying to shade that in with those little letter C's. Maybe trying to fade the C, so wherever it's lightest, that's where you're going to put the most colour. You'll fade it out from there. Fewer and fewer marks on the page. Okay, you can stop there. I'll show you my drawing.